It began like most viral moments do. 1 second, fans were scrolling through their feeds, watching the usual mix of fashion memes and celebrity news. And the next, the name Claressa Shields was trending next to Van Cleef and Arpels, next to Remy Ma, and next to phrases like awkward moment, caught on camera, and online shock. The internet didn't just pick up on it, it devoured it, regurgitated it, and reinterpreted it for virality. And that's when things stopped being casual and started feeling intense. The core of the buzz was a series of photos and short video clips that began circulating from a high-profile event, one of those glamorous gatherings where red carpet stunners and entertainment heavyweights mingle under the flash of 1,000 cameras. In one clip, Claressa Shields, the undefeated boxing champion known for her power, her focus, and her candid presence, appears walking through a crowd. Her expression is composed, confident, a woman accustomed to attention and spotlight. But it was what happened next that sent social media into overdrive. In that same frame was a piece of jewelry, a Van Cleef and Arpels design, widely recognized and understood in fashion circles to belong to Remy Ma, an iconic rapper whose jewelry choices are almost as talked about as her music. Now, someone wearing or carrying an expensive piece of jewelry at a public event is not usually news. But in this case, the shot felt strange to many. The way the camera caught the clasp, the way Claressa's hand grazed near the necklace in passing, the angle of her fingers, the timing of the flash, it all created just enough ambiguity to ignite interpretation. Was she adjusting it? Was she trying it on? Was she even aware of it? Or was it simply a coincidence? An unfortunate cropping of a crowded scene that made it look like something it wasn't. The internet does not wait for confirmation. Before long, Claressa Shields' Van Cleef moment was everywhere. Screenshots were posted with dramatic captions. Comment sections exploded. Is she trying on Remy Ma's jewelry? One user typed, another, this feels awkward but I can't look away. Another user tried to calm the chaos with an innocent observation. Guys, she's just walking past someone, it's a crowded event. But calm voices are drowned out quickly when curiosity has fuel. In the hours that followed, reactions spanned every emotional tone imaginable. There were the genuinely confused. I swear I paused at the yo-yo 2 mark 3 times. Did she even touch it? They asked. Then there were the defensive. She's a champion athlete, don't make a thing out of nothing. And of course, there were the dramatists, the ones who knew this could be the next big cultural narrative before it even had context. Remy better speak, typed one fan, half in jest, half in fevered expectation. What made the reaction so intense wasn't just the potential awkwardness, it was what it represented. Social media had, over the years, elevated celebrity interactions with luxury items into their own category of fascination. A handbag can become symbolism, a glance can become gossip, a fleeting hand movement can become meaningful. And when the subjects involved are as powerful in their own right as Claressa Shields, a woman who has broken boundaries in sport, and someone like Remy Ma, a rap legend with serious fashion cred, interpretation becomes a sport of its own. Within hours, commentary channels had clipped the moment into 10-minute explainers. Influencers poured over frame-by-frame analysis. Reaction videos proliferated with titles like, "Did Claressa just try to grab that necklace?" And the most awkward celebrity moment of the year. Some creators even made slow-motion compilations, circling what looked like Claressa's hand trajectory or the position of the jewelry relative to the crowd. And all of it was speculation. None of it confirmed. None of it verified by the parties involved. Just reaction, just interpretation. The social media frenzy wasn't just about what happened physically. It was about storytelling. The human mind loves narrative. It loves questions that feel personal. It loves dramatic tension. And it loves celebrity moments that invite viewers to decide for themselves what really happened. That's why this wasn't just a photo or a clip or a fashion moment. It became a saga. Then came the emotional charge. People began taking sides. Some defended Claressa fiercely, not because she was guilty or innocent of anything, but because she's someone they admire and want to see protected from online judgment. Fans pointed out how easy it is for a camera angle to create illusions. They argued relentless speculation was harmful and unnecessary. They reminded everyone that Claressa is more than a viral headline and that a moment captured in a photo does not define her character or intentions. Other voices, however, leaned into curiosity, not accusations but interpretations. Maybe she admired the piece. One commenter wrote, maybe it was an honest compliment moment. Another added, sometimes people appreciate jewelry without it being drama. These fans weren't trying to create conflict, they were trying to humanize the situation. but nuance gets lost quickly in the fast-moving world of timelines and trending topics. Then there were those who nearly turned it into a police procedural, combing through every second of footage from the event, comparing it with previous jewelry shots from Remy Ma, aligning timestamps with event schedules, even scouting shirt pocket positions and lighting angles to understand whether this moment was coincidence or something more theatrical. It was intense, exhausting, and utterly fascinating, because in an era saturated with choices for attention, this was attention economy at its peak. The next day brought new layers. Fashion blogs posted side-by-side comparisons of Remy Ma's previous Van Cleef pieces and the one visible in the viral clip. Commentators discussed whether Claressa's outfit, bold, elegant, and meticulously coordinated, made her more or less likely to be drawn to a standout necklace. Fans quoted body language experts who claimed that a hand movement looked deliberate, only to be countered by other experts saying it was horn artifact, emotion blur, and camera angle. Some memes cut to the heart of collective fascination. A slow zoom in on the jewelry with dramatic music, a Photoshop edit placing Claressa in a treasure heist scene, an imaginary talk show still where Claressa and Remy Ma face off across a glittering table. Humor became a coping mechanism, a way for people to engage without emotional investment but with peak entertainment. Yet amid all the entertainment, a few sober voices asked an important question: why does this matter so much? Because on the surface, it was just a moment at an event, a byproduct of cameras, crowds, and expensive accessories. But beneath the surface, it revealed something profound about how public figures are perceived in the digital age. Celebrities don't just live their lives anymore. Their actions are continually interpreted as symbols. A hand gesture becomes evidence of intention. A glance becomes a storyline. A piece of jewelry, even for a split second, becomes the center of cultural examination. And then came the responses, or in some cases, the deliberate lack of response. Claressa Shields, in the days that followed, maintained a professional, focused presence online. No dramatic statements, no defensive posts, no passive-aggressive stories. Just the calm consistency of someone who knows her worth and refuses to let a moment define her narrative. Some saw this as maturity, others saw it as strategy. But regardless of interpretation, one thing was clear: her silence carried as much weight on social media as any comment could. Meanwhile, Remy Ma's circle remained gracefully silent in public. No privileges of refutation, no viral clapbacks, no direct engagement with the rumor. In a digital world that often rewards escalation, this type of restraint became its own statement, and oddly enough, that restraint added fuel to speculation. Because when no one confirms or denies, people feel invited to interpret. And the emotional escalation was now everywhere: the fascination, the frustration, the humor, the analysis, the memes, the judgment, the defense, the curiosity, all tangled into this digital moment that prompted every level of human reaction. Some fans pointed out the contrast between how we treat professional news versus how we treat celebrity rumor. A verified scientific study might get a few comments. A celebrity snapshot gets hundreds of thousands. Why? Because narrative, context, and personality give people clues they feel they can decode, even when they're watching through their phones from their living rooms. The clip that started it all, the second-long frame where the jewelry appears and Claressa walks near it, became an artifact. Media channels pulled still frames. Analysts slowed it down. Influencers replayed it with commentary. The same piece of media that may have been an innocent snapshot became layered with dozens of interpretations, each more elaborate than the last. And yet, even with all that analysis, no definitive explanation ever surfaced. No interview confirming interaction. No statement clarifying intention. No clarification from Remy Ma's camp. Just speculation, interpretation, and the suspense of not knowing. But it didn't feel like a void, it felt like momentum. Because humans aren't content with uncertainty. We fill in the blanks. We build narratives. We escalate meaning, and when the subject involves personalities we care about, whether through admiration, curiosity, or emotional investment, the stakes feel personal. Some social media users even pointed out the deeper emotional truth beneath this moment: that in a world of controlled PR narratives, curated images, and polished headlines, genuine ambiguity feels alive. We are so accustomed to everything being answered, dissected, explained, and packaged for public consumption that when something lingers in uncertainty, a blink and you miss it moment, we feel strangely compelled to interpret it. Ambiguity drives stories, and stories reveal human nature. Amid the frenzy, voices reminded audiences that Claressa Shields and Remy Ma live beyond viral moments. What mattered wasn't jewelry or gestures, it was how fleeting moments are interpreted. Claressa's composure and Remy Ma's silence showed restraint, proving that in the digital age, perception often shapes narrative